Yesterday, I walked out of my office for the last time. And this morning, I woke up retired. I've spent months wondering what this moment would feel like. I've counted down the days. I've talked about it. I've worried about it. I've looked forward to it. And now that I'm actually here, I'm not sure I have that answer yet. Yesterday morning, I drove to work the same way I've done hundreds of times before. The same roads, same turns, same destination. Except this time, I knew I would never make that drive to work again. There's something strange about knowing you're doing an ordinary thing for the very last time. But I wasn't prepared for what was waiting for me when I walked through the door. My coworkers had decorated everything. There was confetti all over my desk, gold stars, banners, and apparently I'd officially become a quitter. I loved that. There were congratulations. There were jokes. There were hugs. People stopped by, and somewhere right in the middle of it all, I kept having this thought. How can something you've done for so many years just end? For the last few weeks, I've been talking about all these little lasts, but yesterday, they weren't little anymore. The last time I sat at that desk, the last time I looked at that computer, the last work conversation, the last time I gathered my belongings, and the last time I looked around that office knowing this wasn't going to be my office anymore. And isn't it strange? The day before, that desk was just a desk. That chair was just a chair. That office was simply the place I went to work every day. And suddenly, they were memories. Maybe that's one of the biggest things that this countdown has taught me. We spend so much of our lives waiting for the big moments that sometimes we don't realize the ordinary ones were the big moments. And eventually, after the day, there was nothing left for me to do but leave. I wish I could tell you I had some profound thought as I walked out, because I didn't. I think I was just trying to take it all in, because how do you say goodbye to something that's been part of who you are for so long? And maybe the bigger question is, who are you when that part is gone? I didn't have the answer yesterday, and I'm not sure I have it today either. And then my workday ended. But apparently, they weren't quite finished with me yet. That evening, my boss opened his home, and everyone gathered together for my retirement dinner. And when I walked in, I couldn't believe what they had done. The table was beautiful. There were flowers, incredible food, and so much thought had gone into making that evening special. But looking back, what I remember most isn't really any of that. It was the people. They were the same people I'd spent my days working beside, except now there were no phones ringing, no customers waiting, no appointments, and no work that needed to be done. We were just together, talking, laughing, remembering, celebrating. And after spending the entire day noticing all those lasts, I realized there was one more goodbye I hadn't really prepared myself for. The people. Because here's what nobody tells you about retiring. You don't just stop going to a job. You stop being someone's coworker. Not gradually, not with a transition period. Just yesterday you were, and today you're not. And I think that's the part that I wasn't quite ready for. Not the work, the role. Because you can't be completely ready for what's next and still feel something about what you're becoming instead. And both things can be true. And then they gave me this, a little reminder to carry with me into this next chapter. And looking at it, I realized something. I'm leaving the job, but I'm not leaving the people behind. I'm not leaving the friendships behind. And I'm certainly not leaving the memories behind. Those get to come with me. And somewhere between the food, the stories, the laughter, the hugs, and moments like this, it stopped feeling quite so much like a goodbye, and it started feeling like a celebration of everything that came before and everything that's still ahead. Maybe that's what I needed my last day to be. Not just an ending, a bridge between what was and whatever comes next. Which brings me to this morning. Good morning. I'm retired. Wow. I've been waiting to say that for a very long time. And do you know what's funny? I thought reaching this day would somehow answer all the questions I've been asking for the last few months. What will my days look like? Will I miss working? Will I find a new routine? What will give me purpose? And who am I when my career isn't attached to my name anymore? And what comes next? But I woke up this morning and retirement hadn't magically handed me any of those answers. Instead, it handed me something better, the freedom to find them. For so many years, life had structure built into it. There was always somewhere to be, something that needed to be done, someone who needed an answer, an appointment, a deadline, a responsibility. And suddenly, there is space. And maybe I don't need to rush to fill it because I know myself. I could very easily wake up Monday morning and make a list of 20, 30 things and somehow turn retirement into another job. And honestly, I don't want to do that. Maybe I don't immediately need a new routine. Maybe I don't need to prove that I am still productive. And maybe I don't need to have my next chapter mapped out by Monday morning. Maybe I can just let this new life introduce itself to me. I don't think I've ever really done that before. And there's something else that I've realized. For months, I thought this channel was documenting my journey to retirement. And for the last 30 days, we've counted it down together. 30 days, 20, 10, 5, 3, 2, 1, and now 0. But sitting here today, 0 doesn't feel like an ending. It feels like a beginning because maybe the countdown wasn't really the story. It was the prologue. The question was never just, what will it feel like to retire? The bigger question has always been waiting just on the other side. What happens after you do? So if you've been here with me through this countdown, I thank you, truly. You've watched me pack up pieces of my life. You've watched me say goodbye. You've watched me question whether I was ready. You've watched me get excited, scared, sentimental, and probably overthink retirement more than once. But something else happened that I didn't quite expect. You started telling me your stories too. Some of you already retired. Some of you are still counting down to your own days. And some of you are simply going through a change in your own life and asking some of the very same questions. And somewhere along the way, this stopped feeling like just my countdown. It became a conversation. And I don't want that conversation to end just because the countdown did. Because now we get to ask completely different questions. What does retirement actually feel like after the retirement dinner is over and everyone goes home? After the congratulations stop? What happens Monday morning when nobody expects you to be anywhere? What happens to our identity, our relationships, our routines, our sense of purpose? And what happens when we finally have all that time that we have spent years wishing we had? What do we do with it? I don't know. And I think that is okay, because I don't want Second Act Studio to become a channel where I sit here and pretend I've figured out retirement, because I have not. I just got here. I want this to be a place where we talk about what really happens next, the good parts, the strange parts, the things nobody warned us about, the things that I get wrong, and there will be those, the things I discover, and hopefully the things that surprise me. We're going to figure out what this next chapter can actually look like together. Yesterday morning, I walked into that office for the last time. Yesterday afternoon, I walked out. And last night, I sat in my boss's home, surrounded by people who had been part of that chapter of my life, celebrating everything we'd shared. And today I'm sitting here at the beginning of the chapter I've spent months talking about, without actually knowing what it would look like when I got here. And I still don't. A few months ago, that probably would have scared me. Today, I think I'm okay with it, because for the first time in a very long time, I don't have to know what's next. I get to find out. Maybe that's what a second act really is. Not knowing exactly where the story goes, but finally having the freedom to turn the page. So, now what? I guess we'll find out together. I'll see you Wednesday.